Let's get started. Let's go ahead and start off with our risk disclosure. Just want to remind everyone that the content that's being published and distributed by the market trader and its affiliates is to be treated as general information only. None of the information provided by the company or contained herein is intended as investment advice and offered to buy, sell, recommend, endorse, sponsor any security, company, or fund. Use of this information contained herein is to be used at your own risk, and the company, its partners, representatives, and agents, employees, contractors assume no responsibility or liability for any use or misuse of such information. We all understand that future trading does carry a fair amount of risk. It's not for every investor, and an investor could lose potentially all or more of their investment capital. Only risk capital, money that can be lost without jeopardizing one's financial security or lifestyle, should be used for trading, and only those individuals with sufficient risk capital should consider trading. Again, nothing contained herein is a solicitation or an offer to buy, sell futures, options, or Forex, and past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right. So now that we've gotten the good morning, Swindler, I'm going to be displaying this, refreshing here in a sec. All right. So the next thing we're going to be displaying is the news here. Okay, and basically what we're trying to understand. Hopefully the screen is now visible to folks. Just double checking here. Swindler, are you able to see the screen now? All right. While we're waiting for an answer there, we'll go ahead and review the news. Okay. So, okay, excellent. All right. So we have a fair amount of news coming in today. All right. So we have at 9:45 Eastern time today, we have the PMI, services PMI, manufacturing PMI, composite PMI coming in at 9:45 today. We have the U.S. existing home sales coming in at 10 a.m. We have some reports regarding Michigan, University of Michigan sentiment coming out. And then later today, we have some remarks from our president. Okay. And then we have Fed member Jefferson speaking here at 11:30. And we have, I guess, some additional executive orders that are being signed today. And then I guess we have the monthly OPEX meetings, which could impact our crude oil. Okay. So fair amount of news, and with all the attention that's being placed on comments being made from our president, even more reason to be on the guard on positions that we take in the market, because the markets react quite vigorously to any comment that our president makes. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and move on to our review of the charts here. All right. So we'll go ahead and start off with the have the gold market starting off with. I have the ES up, but we're going to go ahead and move that over to the GC here. Okay. And again, we, as we normally do, we shut down all our indicators and just kind of take a peek here as to what the overall market is trying to accomplish here. Okay. But we do that by starting off with the daily chart. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off some of my indicators and then bring them back when we get to maybe a little bit smaller time frame here. So let's see. Go ahead. Okay. And then we'll go ahead and move on to the daily. And you can see here that we've been on a very steady climb in the gold. Okay. Now, of late, we've started to see a lot more in the way of overlapping price. Okay. So we have overlapping price candles here, which could indicate that maybe there's some consolidation that's going on here. So maybe some digestion of the move that we've made since late December. Okay. So a lot more in the way of overlapping price, indicating that maybe we might be in some sort of range kind of price action in the gold market. Moving on to the 4-hour chart. Okay, 4-hour chart also giving us the same kind of view here. We have indications here that that we have a kind of a top side in the market here around I'm going to say 29.73, and then maybe on the bottom side, at least the range, it looks like around let's say 28.90. All right. So I'm just going to go ahead and mark this lower one here as supportive. Okay. And we've been in this range since Monday, looks like. Okay. We had a steady climb. And then since Monday, we've been kind of in this range mode. All right. Moving on to the 30-minute chart. This is where we start to do a little bit of some volume analysis. Okay. All right. So we're going to go ahead and start off with our fixed range volume profile here. Okay, we're going to find the, let's see, the start of Thursday here. I always like to compare where price is in comparison to the prior session. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do just that. All right, and we can see that price is below value. Okay, so there is a fair amount of control, I guess, on the bearish side. Okay. Now, I'm going to go ahead and extend this line here, value area low. Okay, that's kind of my line in the sand. Okay, so if price manages to close above value, then I would say that, or not this above this value area low. Okay, well, basically we get into balance. Okay, balance price, basically balanced price range, where 70% of the price action or price basically explored. Okay, so the question right now is: Are we headed, maybe for a leg back to the highs here around 29.60, or are we going to maybe continue our trek lower here? Okay. Now we are seeing. I'm going to go ahead and open up our initial balance here range here. Okay, so initial balance is being established as we speak. I'm going to go ahead and open up the ADR levels. We had a nice reversal off ADR low here. I'm going to go ahead and also open up ASR here. Okay, so we have ADR and ASR. Average daily range is independent of session, and average session range is per session. Okay, so I have the London session here, and then this is the average daily range independent of session. Okay, so we had a nice reversal off of average daily range low. Okay, now the question is this going to be sustained? Okay, and if it's going to be sustained, then price is ultimately going to get above 29.50. Good morning, George. Ultimately going to get above 29.50. Okay, so let's go ahead and close this off here. So right now we're I'm going to go ahead. Let's see, this happened during London. Okay, so London has taken the price of gold higher. All right, I'm going to go ahead and do an anchored VWAP here at the start of London. Okay, so that's going to be kind of my line in the sand here to see if we maintain this kind of bullish I guess sentiment as of the start of London here. Okay, so right now we have a initial balance range. We're just below value. For me, I would be more inclined to see maybe a price break. Okay, break above this 29.50 level. And if we do get maybe price to close, not only we would get price closing potentially above this initial balance range, it could provide us an opportunity, right, where we get maybe a little bit of a value acceptance. All right, maybe we come back to the highs of Thursday, should that happen. Okay, so I'm going to be quite keen. Okay, right now we seem to be getting a fair amount of interest on the buy side. I was going to see if I can go ahead and add my volume delta to kind of confirm that. Okay, there's our volume delta. Volume delta, while it's showing signs that we're not really seeing net bulls here. Okay, just yet. Okay, we are seeing that there is on the price side, but I wouldn't say that volume delta necessarily congruent with what is going on with price just at the moment. Okay, so nonetheless, we do see that we have a buying wick. Price is above our anchor VWAP. So there could be some further interest here to the upside. Okay, we have been a little bit in kind of I would say bearish structure of late. Okay, just looking at this from left to right, we've been kind of making lower lows and lower highs. So that's something that we need to keep in mind of as well, right? So I'm going to go ahead and kind of draw a little bit of a channel here to kind of keep me oriented here to some degree. All right. So I can see that I'm in bearish structure. Okay. So like I said, if I need to see price get above 29.50, and if it's able to get above 29.50 and hold, well, then maybe that gives me a chance to get back to the highs of yesterday. Otherwise, we're at a location where we could see another leg lower in this market. Okay, that's not out of the question because we are in somewhat bearish structure here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add my levels to this chart, my price levels to this chart up here on the upper right hand side here. Okay, so these are the levels that I'm tracking. I'm just going to kind of spot check some of these to make sure they're accurate here. So we have value area high coming in at 29.59.40. Okay, value area low at 29.49. That seems to be checking out. We have average session range high at 29.60. Okay. And then we have average daily range up here around 29.80. So yeah. So these price levels again are not only not only will they serve as targets for maybe price to reach, but they also provide me areas maybe for price reversals, right? So while if I am of a bullish posture here, then I would say that the reasonable target is back to the highs or back to average session range high here at 29.60.50. Okay, assuming that I'm on the bullish side. If I'm bearish, well, I have another target here below me at 29.26. 90. All right. Right now we're kind of in the middle of the range. So we're kind of waiting to see what kind of in what direction do market participants want to take this market, and the initial balance will help serve in arriving at that view. So with an extension, right? So I'll be looking for some sort of extension, whether it's to the downside or to the upside, to look for an opportunity for an execution. Okay, that's going to be kind of my view here. Right now, I see that we are a little bit of bearish structure. We're right on top of VWAP and kind of ranging here for a bit. Okay, and we'll have to see once the initial balance closes here in the next 45 minutes. We'll have a better understanding of what direction they want to take the market. All right. All right. So now that we've kind of got a sense of what we want to accomplish here, or what we have kind of a view on with respect to gold, we'll go ahead and move on to the crude oil market. Okay. All right. So taking a look at the crude oil market, it's looking a bit bullish, I guess, based on the fact that we're getting a break of the VWAP here at the moment. Let's take a look at the daily chart. All right, daily chart is technically developing a bearish candle, although we do see that we are getting some buying wicks below those candles. Okay, let me go ahead and turn off ADR and ASR for the moment. Okay, and just gotta kind of get a feel for what the market is trying to accomplish here. So I like to kind of start off with this kind of view, right? Look at the most recent swing and ask myself, well, what direction is the market moving, right? Well, I see that we were bearish, and now it's losing a little bit of momentum to the bearish side, right? And we're kind of leveling off here a tad, right? So I'm starting to see that we are in this kind of consolidation pattern. Okay. So, and we're kind of ranging at the moment, not really having, there's not really any sort of directional price that we're seeing on the daily at the moment. Okay. So we've gone from a bearish, we've gone from bearish to, I guess, a bit neutral of late, right? As far as price action, right? Not really giving us much indication. Now, assuming that we are able to get above, say, 73.50 or 73.80, well, then that could potentially change the character, because I do see that we are developing a little bit of a double bottom here. Okay. But in order for this double bottom to really, I guess, play out, we need to see price get above, say, 73.25. Okay. Moving on to the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart, I'm going to go ahead and turn off initial balance, because initial balance is not currently in play, since we're about, looks like about 8 minutes away from this initial balance range beginning to establish here. So again, we're just kind of looking. I'm going to go ahead and draw this area maybe as rather as a kind of a supportive area, maybe a little bit of a lighter green, so it doesn't dominate my eyes here so much. Let's see if we can actually make it a little less transparent here. Yeah, that looks better to me. Okay, so we're coming into an area, right, where we're starting to see a little bit of a slowdown in the advanced lower. Okay, so we're starting to get some support down in this area here around 70. Okay, so the question remains, okay, is this going to remain supportive? I do see that we've developed a little bit of a demand zone here. Trying to draw that in at the moment, right about here. Okay. I see that we broke a level, came back down, retested it, and kind of advanced. Now we have not made it back to that same level, and we're already seeing some buying. Okay. I'm kind of looking at volume delta here. Seems to be somewhat congruent with what I'm seeing with respect to price. All right. Moving down to the 30-minute chart. Okay, so 30-minute chart, we're starting to see a series of bullish candles. More importantly, we're seeing candles that are starting to break some structure here to the upside. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and draw in what I'm seeing is with respect to this channels that I'm telling you about. Okay, not only are we breaking a channel, but we're also breaking VWAP to the upside. Okay. So this could obviously lead to maybe some further price movement or price discovery higher, right? We're looking at the volume delta side. We can see that price we're seeing an increase in volume, all right, in the direction of the move, all right. That is supportive of maybe continued price movement higher in this market, all right. Let's see. We're going to go ahead and open up fixed range volume profile, get a sense for where price is in relation to current price action. All right. So we're going to go ahead and locate the start of Thursday session to the close of Thursday session. And you can see technically we're still technically below value. So again, this area right here, okay, I would say this value area low, okay, could be a target for this current move, okay. But then I'm going to be a little bit wary. All right, I'm going to be a little bit wary to see how price acts around value area low, because value area low could offer a location where we could see we could get some rejection of value, right? So we could get one of these. I didn't want to add the text here. We could get a move up to here and then maybe a failure away. Now, assuming we do this is a more of a sustained move, then the expectation is that we would be able to close inside value. I think the area of interest for me to really kind of embrace this move is to see if we can get price above. Basically, I need to see. I'm seeing that we're breaking some structure here at 72, which is important. But I think the next one that I'm kind of keen on is looking at and seeing a break above is 72.50. because I think if we get above 72.50, it opens the door for 72.80 and possibly up to 73. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm seeing on the. Let's see. We'll go ahead and add the anchor VWAP here. So anchor VWAP to start of London right about here. I'm actually going to use the pivot of when we actually had the kind of change in direction in this market. So assuming that we can keep price above VWAP, above our anchor VWAP, then I would say that we have a reasonable chance for direction to continue higher. Okay, and then the next checkpoint, which we are rapidly approaching, is this value area low. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add my ADR and my ASR here just to see. Okay, so we had a nice, notice we had a nice reversal. Okay, again in London, we came down to some ADR levels here, and we've had a nice reversal away from ADR. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and add my ASR levels here for London and see where we're at in respect to that. They're a little bit lower. So again, we have a couple of reasonable targets, okay, for price as a relation to as it relates to these average ranges. Okay, so we received a very nice reversal away from ADR. Now the question is, can price sustain above VWAP? And if so, then I think it opens up the door certainly to get up to value area low, and ultimately the possibility of getting up to some of these average session ranges that I have here above before we see any sort of reversal in price. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add my price levels to this chart. Okay, these are the levels that I'm going to be tracking here. Okay, right, these are the price levels that I'll be tracking. I'm just going to kind of spot check a couple of these just to make sure that everything's in order. So we have value area low at 72.36. Okay, that's close enough for what we have to. So 72.80 is our value area high. That seems to be within tolerances here. We have 72.87 and 73.45. Yeah, so these prices do seem to be in order here. Okay. All right. So yeah, so that's kind of what I'm looking at right now in the crude oil market. It does appear that maybe we are starting to see maybe a change of character in this market from, say, more of a bearish tone to more of a bullish tone. Okay, given some of the price action that I'm seeing. So we'll have to see how certainly this current candle closes here. Would like to see this candle, if it is indeed going to remain bullish, to close above this 72.12 or 72.15, okay, level. So we'll have to wait for that. And then more importantly, for me, what I generally do is I wait for this this initial balance range to establish for this market, and then I wait for the extension of that initial balance to tell me, you know, what direction do the market participants want to take this market. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm seeing in the crude oil market. So we'll go ahead and move into the equity markets. Okay, which I'm sure everybody's interested in understanding. Okay, so let's take a look at this. So again, we'll turn off some of our indicators. And we'll take a look at the daily chart and get a sense for what is the general direction of the market. Okay, so we had, I think, what everybody was expecting, maybe a little bit of a sell-off yesterday. Okay, but that was met with some buyers. Okay, so buyers stepped into this market, and we now have a bullish engulfing candle here. Okay, now we are coming up to some levels here. We had shown some indecision here around 22,235. We had a couple of days of really neutral kind of price action. We had what appeared to be, I think, I guess, a little bit of a bearish move. Okay, but by the close of the day, that was met with some buyers, and today we have a developing bullish engulfing candle. Okay. So it'll be interesting for me to see if we are able to get above, say, 22,300, because that could open the door for 22,400 and potentially beyond. Okay. All right. Moving on to the 4-hour chart. Okay, for our chart, we since the I guess the middle of overnight session, some buyers have stepped into this market here. Okay, so we middle of I guess middle of the session here, we've had some buyers kind of step into the market here. Now we are coming into an area of resistance, right? Kind of a little bit of a supply zone here. We've rejected this area in the past, so the question is this going to remain resistant, okay, to price, okay, or is this going to be the leg that causes price to break above? So I'm going to go ahead and draw in kind of my line in the sand, okay, that I need to see broken, okay. So what I'd like to see is price to with volume, okay, to break above, okay, and then what I'd like to see, it would like to be part of is some sort of pullback, okay, to that same area that it broke. Okay. I do not necessarily want to be the guy, I don't want to be the, how we say, the sacrificial person to try to drive price and take all the arrows of all the sellers that could potentially be hanging out in these areas. Okay. So I'm going to let the bigger players, the market participants who carry the bigger portfolios or bigger amount of cash or bigger amount of capital, to see if they're able to drive price through this area. And if they are able to hold it, then hold price above, then I would say that this 22,300 level could be an interesting level for an execution higher. Okay. Now, until then, right, we are still kind of at at the mercy of sellers potentially stepping in this area. Okay. Moving on to the 30-minute chart. Okay, so 30-minute chart. Here we are. We're looking again. We're starting to see a little bit of higher highs and higher lows. We've broken what appears to be some structure here to the upside here. Yeah. So again, we're starting to see some higher highs, higher lows. Prices above our VWAP is starting to look a bit bullish. Okay. So let's go ahead and open up our fixed range volume profile. Let's see where price is in relation to value. Okay. And we'll go ahead and select the start of the session and the close of the session. And you can see that price is currently above value from yesterday. Okay. Indicating that there's a fair amount of interest on the bullish side in this market. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and draw in my I'm going to extend my value area high line, because that's going to be an area of interest. You can see here that once we exceeded it, we tested it once, twice, a third time before we headed higher. Okay. So the expectation is, and I'm not saying that we're going to head down there, but my expectation is that if we do manage to get down there, this might be a logical area maybe to see a reversal in price. Okay. Now we are a bit extended. All right. We are a bit extended away from VWAP. All right. VWAP and value area high. I'm going to go ahead and draw in my anchor VWAP from London, see where we are with reference to London. Okay. So there's our London price. So given that we're starting to see a little bit of a trend, okay, to the upside, my VWAPs could serve as some areas for maybe a possible execution, right? We could see, trying to see if this is being met with any significant volume. This one was fair amount of volume. Okay. So yeah, so any area, this area right here would also serve as a kind of another logical area for maybe support, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and draw this in right here. Okay. So this would be another logical area that price may be supportive. Okay. So let's see. We'll go ahead and add our price levels to this chart here. So we'll go ahead and add this here. All right. These are our price levels. I'm just going to double spot check a couple of these. So we have value area high coming in at 22,122. We have value area low coming in at 22,023, all within tolerance here. We have point of control down below here at 22,000. I have 59. Okay, so we'll change that to 59 here. Okay. And then settlement price is up around 22,141. Okay. So yeah, prices seem to be in order. Okay. So again, I'm going to be, again, it is Friday and we still have some news coming in that are gonna hit the news wire here in about a little over a half hour. Okay. So I'm going to wait for those reports to come be published, and PMI, I believe, and basically wait for that to come out before I would be interested in entertaining any sort of executions in this market. Okay. So right now it appears that we are starting to develop a little bit of a bullish kind of tone here. The thing that I'm kind of concerned about is the fact that let's go ahead and open up ADR here. I suspect we might be at some of these edges here. Yeah, close. Yeah, closer. Okay. So my only concern is that we are coming into see these average session ranges that could offer, a bit of resistance. Okay. So maybe there is another leg higher here. Okay. And then we might see some resistance in this area here around 22,300. Okay. That's kind of my only kind of concern that I have for maybe a continued move to the upside. Okay. We are coming into some areas of potential resistance. Okay. All right. Let's see. Anything else that I'm overlooking? So we have a couple of scenarios that would be potentially bullish. Okay. VWAP and value area high. And then we have at least one bear scenario where we come up to a average session range high or average daily range high and reverse away from that. Okay. So a couple of bullish scenarios, a couple of bearish scenarios. Right now, I'm going to be patient and wait for this initial balance range to establish. And then once the initial balance range is established, we can make some sort of decision. Okay. So before we move on to the second to last market, again, would like to encourage folks to hit the likes and subscribes button, or certainly the likes. I'm seeing that we're pretty much on par with the likes. But yeah, if don't be shy with the comments. Okay. Letting me know if how the analysis has supported you in your trading. Okay. Again, the likes and the subscribes, are kind of the lifeblood for content providers such as myself. Okay. It keeps me motivated, to provide to provide this analysis for you. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead now that I've got to give my little bit of my marketing spiel there. Let's go ahead and move into the last couple of markets, and the next market we're going to take a look at is the S&P. All right. Now S&P, we're going to go ahead and turn off some of our levels here. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and open up the daily. You're welcome, Frizu. We'll look at open up the daily here and see. Okay. So again, similar to what we were seeing in the NASDAQ, right? We are seeing that price has made an attempt to go lower, met with some buyers. Okay. And now we have kind of a developing bullish candle. Volume delta is not quite 100% aligned with the view of the candle here. It seems to be slightly more, bearish sells more than buys at the moment. Okay. Moving on to the 4-hour chart. For our chart, again, we're starting to see our series of candles, but again, nothing. I would say the line in the sand remains for me here to really kind of embrace the longs here. I really need to see a new high. Okay, as long as price remains below 61.60, I'm always at the mercy of maybe a seller, potentially coming in, just like this seller here stepped in and drive a lot of buyers away. Okay. So that's something to be cognizant of. And the fact is that, since the midday yesterday, we've been kind of in this kind of range price action. All right, moving down to the 30-minute chart. Okay, 30-minute chart. Again, you can see the range that we've been in of late. On the positive side, I guess, for the bulls, I guess, is the fact that we are above VWAP. Okay, so that's a positive if you happen to be bullish in the market. The anchor VWAP, I'm going to go ahead and add here to the start of London. That's also positive. Okay, so a couple indications here that there is some interest to the bullish side. Let's see. We're going to go ahead and open up our fixed range volume profile. We're going to locate the start of the Thursday session here and the close. Okay, you can see that price is above value. Again, another indication that there's some bulls in the market. Okay, notice how we came down to this level, similar to what we did on the NASDAQ. A couple of times where we came to value area high and reversed away from it. Okay, I've drawn my anchored VWAP. The initial balance range is still something that needs to be added here, or actually we need to wait for that. Our average session range, we still have some room to go there. And yeah, on both ends. Okay, so we're kind of in the middle of the range, our middle of our average session ranges. Okay, so we have some reasonable targets above us, right? That price could continue higher, right? We have 61.58, 61.60. Okay, if we are going to continue this current march, we could continue to grind all the way up to that level. Now we do have some news coming across the wires here in about 30 minutes. So that could potentially shake up the markets here a little bit. Okay. So these levels above me, okay, these average session ranges, average session range high, average session range lows, or average session range high in this particular case, could provide me an area for maybe a reversal in price here. Okay. This could certainly be a possibility. And until then, this could offer me a opportunity for a bullish trade all the way up to the highs, assuming that we are able to hold above say 61.40. Okay, I think that's an important consideration here. Okay, if price is able to remain above 61.40, I would say that we have a reasonable chance of making maybe getting up to 61.50 and maybe even as high as 61.60. Okay, in the ES market. Okay, all right. Let's go ahead and add my price levels to this market. Okay, so here are our price levels to this market. So there we are. Okay, so we have our value area high coming in at 61.38, which seems a little bit high given what I just did here. Just a double confirm here. Did I capture the right market? Yeah, let's do one click over here. Okay, 61.30. All right, so let's modify this average session range high to 61.30. Okay, all right, and let's see, we got value area low coming in at 61.06, 61.13. That's off as well, so we'll modify that 61.06. Okay, and then we have our average session range high. That's accurate. Average session range low 61.11, 75. Then we have our average daily range high 61.58. Average daily range low is 61.05. So yeah, that looks in order. Okay, so right now, let's kind of stretch this out here a little bit, make it a little bit more visible for folks here. So we're going to go ahead and stretch this and see if we can do both. Stretch and maintain as much context as we can on what the market could potentially do. Okay. All right. So yeah, I think that's pretty much what I have to say for the ES here. It does appear to be in a little bit of a bullish trend. Okay. We are above VWAP and above some of the things that we care about to continue to I guess, keep that bullish view. Okay. Assuming that we can continue to stay above, then I would say that we have a reasonable chance to get up to 6160, okay, in this market. If we start to falter here and get below, right, certainly 6111 is a possibility, assuming that we can get price to close back inside value, right? Otherwise, otherwise price can come back down to value, and that would be a value area high, I should say, and that could offer us maybe a reversal in price there. Okay, so those are a couple of scenarios that I'm seeing in the ES. Okay, so right now I would say going into the market, I would say that I would have to be bullish. Okay, but I'm going to wait for my initial balance range to establish, and then decide from there as to the direction and location on where I'm going to take executions. I've already kind of marked up a couple levels. 6130 seems to be of interest to me. 6160, if I'm more on the order of sell, that would be a logical area for a potential sale, for a little bit of a pullback. And then we have VWAP in between to maybe support a continuation trade to the long side. Okay. All right. We'll close off this session with a review of the Dow. Okay. Now the Dow yesterday was the weakest, and it kind of held true here, right? It remains the weakest of the three equities. Okay, so let's take a look at the the Dow definitely is the weakest of the equities. So we have a developing bearish engulfing candle, not engulfing, a bearish candle supported by volume to the downside. Okay. So Dow definitely looking bearish. Okay. We have an engulfing candle on the 4-hour chart that is equally strong. Okay. I'm trying to look here to the left to see, we're right at an area where 44,000, which is going to be important. Okay. If it's unable to hold that, then we're probably looking at 43,800, maybe as low as 43,500. Okay. So yeah, interesting level at the moment in the little bit difficult to sell at these levels. Feel like I'm paying a little bit of a retail price on this, but if I do get some sort of, pullback of some sort, maybe a pullback to VWAP or something along those lines, that could be a reasonable location to maybe for a continuation move to the downside. Okay. Moving on to the 30-minute chart. I got a lot of clutter here, so I'm going to remove some of that clutter. Okay. Stretch this out here a little bit. Now I don't have any captured price levels, but what I can provide is some sense on the volume side. Okay, so we're going to drag this across. All right, there we are. Okay, so we're right at the edge of value area low from yesterday, which could potentially be supportive. Okay, so this area right here could be a supportive range, and not only that, we have reached the average daily range. Okay, so this area right here could be a supportive area. Okay, assuming, and we have a developing bullish engulfing candle. Okay, now if this holds, we're at a level where we could potentially reverse at least to VWAP, I would say. Okay, but we also have to understand that we are in a little bit of bearish structure, and the daily is also equally as bearish. So any sort of bullish trade, I think we'd have to temper our expectations. Okay, that maybe the best it can do is maybe get us back to value VWAP. Okay, before it continues its move to the downside. Okay, just based on some higher time frame price action. Okay, so we have average session range high at 44,480. This will adjust here in about 10 minutes. We have 44,118 on the downside, and then we are already at average daily ranges below the range. So this again could offer us a little bit of a bounce. Okay, We have value area low as well as average daily range low. Okay. All right. I'm going to go ahead and draw in my anchored VWAP as kind of one last kind of view here. I'm going to use this pivot area here. Okay. So as long as price remains below VWAP, I'm going to have to say that we're probably looking more bearish. Okay. In this market. And like I said, out of all the equity markets, the Dow looks the most bearish to me. Okay, so if I'm going to be looking for trades in the Dow, I'm going to be looking for maybe areas where I could look for bearish opportunities. Okay, so if we do manage to get to through value, maybe this area here at 44,300 could offer me a location, right, for maybe a bearish trade. Okay, if we don't a reverse away from VWAP, okay, that would be my kind of secondary location. I've already kind of marked that level here. Okay, so a couple areas that I'm going to be looking at and patient for on the bearish side, because that's kind of what I'm seeing on the higher time frame. On the higher time frame, it appears that we are in somewhat of a bearish structure here. So I'm not necessarily inclined to for bullish trades, although I could take bullish trades to some of these intermediate levels, not necessarily as a full-blown trend change. Okay, because I'm not seeing that necessarily on the daily at the moment. Okay. Okay, I think that's pretty much what I have for you guys today. I'm happy to entertain any questions that you guys might have. But right now, I think again, looking at the equities, ES and NASDAQ appear to be a bit bullish. Dow, obviously, to a lesser degree. Crude oil was also starting to show signs of some bullish maybe change, maybe from bearish to neutral to maybe some more bullish price action. Okay. All right. Well, I think that's pretty much it, guys. Encantado, Top Spain. I think that's pretty much it, guys. For me, like I said, I think going into this session, I think we need to focus in on, I would say remaining bearish on the Dow and potentially bullish on these other equity markets. Okay. So today is Friday. We still have some news in the horizon here, guys. So we want to be careful about that. So remain patient and wait for maybe some of this news to get published, and then maybe start to entertain to see where price might be at that point, and to look for some executions. Okay. So with that, guys, as I close every session, trade well, trade safe, trade like a pro, be a market trader. All right, guys, have a great day. Again, remember, this is Capital Preservation Friday. Okay, so don't give back all your winnings. If you're profitable, I'm not saying that you don't trade, but make sure you walk away with the week on the positive end. Okay. Don't be shy with the likes and subscribes on your way out. And also welcome very much any comments that you might have on the analysis, on how that supported you in your trading. That's always welcome to see, and very supportive of the channel. Okay. So again, guys, trade well, trade safe, trade like a pro, be a market trader. Have a great day, guys.